Dear students, welcome to video lecture series of Design of Hydraulic Structures. Today we are going to discuss the topic Siphon Well Drop from our third module. For reference, you can refer the textbook Irrigation Engineering and Hydraulic Structures by S.K. Garg. Before going to the design aspects of a siphon well drop, first let's discuss what is a siphon well drop. Siphon well drop is a kind of canal fall structure. The topic canal fall was discussed in our second module. So you know that canal fall is a structure that is used in order to destroy the surplus energy of falling water. The condition of falling water comes within the state when there is a high elevated ground and the canal has to pass the high elevated ground surface to lower elevated ground surface. At this condition, a fall or canal drop is required in order to destroy the surplus energy of falling water. This is the exact purpose of canal falls, and our topic siphon well drop is a kind of canal fall structure. Basically, there are different types of canal fall structure like ogee fall, rapid fall, stepped fall, trapezoidal notch fall and vertical drop fall. Our particular topic, siphon well drop, comes under the category vertical drop fall kind of canal fall structure. Now let's discuss the basic structure of a siphon well drop. This is a typical schematic diagram of siphon well drop. As you know that it's a kind of canal fall structure used in order to transmit or pass water from high elevated ground to lower elevated ground. As the name indicates, there will be presence of wells. This is the inlet well and this is called the outlet well. When water is coming from the upstream direction through upstream canal, first water will fall into the inlet well. From inlet well, the water will pass through the pipe and it will reach the outlet well. From outlet well, it will pass to the downstream canal. This is the basic structure of a siphon well drop. So there will be upstream canal. From upstream canal, water will be falling to inlet well. From inlet well, water will be passing through the pipe connection between inlet well and outer well. Then water will move on to the downstream canal. This is the basic structure of a siphon well drop. Now we are going to discuss how a siphon well drop can be designed using specific parameters. You can read the question, design a siphon well drop for the following particulars. See, these are the details given to you. Coming to the details of the question, first is the fall. Fall is also called the canal drop and the fall is 3.8 meter. Fall 3.8 meter means the elevation difference between the upstream canal bed level and the downstream canal bed level. See, this is the fall height and the height difference between the upstream canal bed level and downstream canal bed level fall here is 3.8 meter and the canal is having a full supply depth of 75 centimeter, that is 0.75 meter. The ground level of the canal is given to you and the upstream canal bed level of the upstream canal is given to you. The canal is carrying a discharge of 1 cumex and the bed width of upstream and downstream is given to you 2.4 meter. The length of pipe connecting inlet and outer well is 12 meter. Means this is the pipe connecting the inlet and outer well, and the length of the pipe given to you in question is 12 meter. Now going to the design aspects of siphon well drop. Step 1 is the design of trapezoidal notch. Let's see where comes the application of trapezoidal notch. A trapezoidal notch in siphon well drop is placed at the opening of the upstream canal. Water is falling into the inlet well from this trapezoidal notch. So this trapezoidal notch is placed at the upstream canal bed level of the upstream canal. So here we are placing the trapezoidal notch. Since this is the cross section, trapezoidal notch is placed here. Only you can see the trapezoidal shape in this particular view. That is why a trapezoidal notch that you can't see from this direction, but understand that trapezoidal notch is placed here. Now coming to the design of trapezoidal notch, this is the specifications of the trapezoidal notch that we are providing. It is having a bottom width, it is denoted by L, and its top width is denoted by the letter capital T. It is having the angle alpha, where alpha is the angle that the sides of the trapezoidal notch makes with the vertical. And now this is the full supply depth. From your question it is very clear that full supply depth here it will be 75 centimeter or 0.75 meter. Now from question we know that the canal discharge is equal to 1 cumex. And for trapezoidal notch, the basic discharge equation Q equal to 2.99 into C into D raised to 3 by 2 and in bracket L plus 0.4 ND. Let's see the parameters, where Q is the discharge, that is 1 cumex, and C is the coefficient of discharge, you can take it as 0.7. Capital L is the length of the notch or width of sill, or it is the bottom width. And N can be 2 tan alpha. Now again coming to this particular specific equation of trapezoidal notch. We can take this equation of trapezoidal notch in two different cases. Case 1 is full supply condition and case 2 is half supply condition. Now let's discuss the full supply condition. For full supply condition we can take the discharge, the full discharge, that is 1 cumex equal to 2.99 into C value you know, that is 0.7, and D is for case 1 it is full supply, so we can take the full supply depth 0.75 as D, and in bracket L value you don't know, so that is a variable, plus 0.4 into N. N value also is unknown to you, into D, where D is the full supply depth. So you can formulate an equation for case 1. In case 1 equation, L and N are the unknowns. You can mark that equation as equation number 1. Now for the second case, that is case number 2, it is half supply condition. For half supply condition, you can take the canal discharge exactly as the half. So it will be 0.5 cumex equal to 2.99 into C value is again 0.7. Now D. For half supply condition, the D value can be, for half supply, D value is 0.66 of D. So you have to take 0.66 of 0.75 and substitute that value here for D. Again L value is unknown to you, plus 0.4, N is unknown to you, and again D, since it is the case of half supply condition, the D value can be 0.66 of 0.75. Thus you can formulate the second equation for case 2. Again there L and N are the unknowns for you. Now you have two equations. In both equations L and N are the unknowns. Thus both equations are for discharge also. Thus you can solve the value of L and N. After the solution, you will get the value of L equal to 0.590 meter and N value equal to 0.479. Once you got the value of N, you can formulate the angle, or you can calculate the angle alpha, where alpha equal to 13.49 degree. Thus you got all the parameters of the dimensions of the notch. You have the bottom width, you have the top width. You can calculate the top width based on this angle alpha. And next parameter regarding the notch is the velocity over the notch, that is V1. Basically you know that you can calculate the velocity V equal to discharge by area. Here velocity V1 means it is the velocity of flow coming out of this trapezoidal notch and falling into our inlet well. Since it is passing through the trapezoidal notch, you have to take the cross-sectional area of the trapezoidal notch for this area calculation. That area can be calculated. You know the bottom width, you know the top width, and you know the full supply depth, that is equal to 0.75 meter. So the area will be, area of the cross-sectional area of the notch will be top width plus bottom width whole divided by 2 into the full supply depth. And the discharge is 1 cumex, so you will get the value of V1 equal to 1.73 meter per second. Now coming to the next step, that is step number 3, pipe connection between inlet and outer well. Here we are going to design the pipe connection between this inlet well and outer well. Here we are going to design the diameter and the various head loss calculations of the pipe connecting the inlet well and the outer well. Again going back to step number 3. Basically, if a particular dimension of the pipe is not given in your question, you can assume the diameter of the pipe in between 0.5 to 1 meter. Here we are going to assume a pipe diameter, say 1 meter, and assume that the diameter at the opening of the pipe be 0.5 meter. Again going to the figure, this is the opening of the pipe. Here at the opening the diameter is assumed to be only 0.5 meter, then it is expanding to 1 meter over here, and 1 meter pipe is extending till the outer well. Again the next calculation, the velocity of entry into the pipe, that is V2. You know that at the entrance the pipe is having only diameter 0.5 meter. So V2 equal to discharge divided by area, and this area will be equal to pi by 4 into 0.5 square, and discharge will be equal to 1 cumex. So you will get the velocity value V2 equal to 5.09 meter per second. Now moving to the next velocity calculation, velocity of flow through pipe, that is V3. Again using the same equation, discharge by area, you can calculate velocity value. Here you have to take care that the area is, here the diameter of the pipe is 1 meter, so area is pi by 4 1 square. Discharge is same as 1 cumex. You will get the velocity V3 equal to 1.27 meter per second. Now the head loss calculation. Loss of head between the inlet well and downstream full supply level equal to the total head loss here will be entry loss plus expansion loss plus friction loss plus exit loss. I will explain with the aid of this figure. You know that this is the entrance of this pipe, so there will be minor loss due to entrance. From this 0.5 meter diameter, the pipe is expanding to 1 meter. So there will be minor loss due to expansion. Then water is passing through this 1 meter pipe for a particular length of 12 meter. From question, you know that the length of the pipe is 12 meter. So while water flow through this pipe, there will be major friction loss, and this is the exit point. At the exit point also there will be minor loss due to exit. So the total head loss can be calculated using the equation. This is entry loss equation. This is expansion loss equation. This is the equation for friction loss, and last is the equation for exit loss. So you know the parameter V2 and V3 from previous calculation, and using this calculation f dash value, f dash is the friction coefficient, f dash you can take it as 0.012 and the L value you can take it as 12 meter. All other parameters are known to you. Here small d is the diameter of the pipe. Here the diameter of the pipe is 1 meter. You can calculate the head loss, and the final value of head loss is 1.49 meter. Next calculation is reduced level of water level in the inlet well. That will be equal to downstream full supply level plus head loss. This is the reduced level of the water level in the inlet well. That is the calculation that we are going to do. Reduced level of water level in the inlet well will be equal to downstream full supply level plus head loss. You know the head loss value here. Now you want to calculate the downstream full supply level. In order to calculate downstream full supply level, let's go back to our question. See, the canal bed level, upstream canal bed level is given to you, that is 162.83. From this upstream canal bed level, if you minus the fall height, you will get the downstream canal bed level. The downstream canal bed level plus the full supply depth will give you downstream full supply level. Thus you can calculate the downstream full supply level, head loss value known to you, that is 1.49. Thus you will get the reduced level of water level in the inlet well equal to 161.27. That is, this is the reduced level of water level in the inlet well, that is 161.27. Next, very important, is the calculation of reduced level of center of pressure of waterway through the nose. What do you mean by the reduced level of center of water pressure? See, the center of pressure is located at a height of 1/3 of the full supply depth from the upstream canal bed level. So you know that this is the upstream canal bed level. From upstream canal bed level, if you add on 1/3 of the full supply depth, you will get the reduced level of center of pressure. Going back to calculation, reduced level of center of pressure equal to upstream canal bed level plus full supply depth divided by 3. It will give you 163.08 meter. Now the next calculation is height y. I will show you what is height y. Height y is the elevation between the reduced level of center of pressure and the reduced level of water in the inlet well. This is height y. So this height y can be calculated by deducting the reduced level of center of pressure and reduced level of water level in the inlet well. Both values are known to us. Height y equal to, see, this is the reduced level of center of pressure and this is the reduced level of water level in the inlet well. So height capital Y will be 1.81 meter. Now the next parameter, distance x. From this figure, let's infer what is distance x. Distance x is the distance from the wall of the inlet well up to the center of pressure. So this is distance x, and distance x can be calculated using the basic equation v1 equal to root of gx square divided by 2y. This equation is actually formulated from basic Newton's laws of motion, that is basic Newton's equations of motion, that is S equal to ut plus half gt square. If you want the derivation, you can refer SK Garg textbook and you will find the derivation there. Finally, you will get velocity v1, where v1 is the velocity of flow through the notch. v1 equal to gx square divided by 2y. v1 value is known to you from the previous steps, and g is acceleration due to gravity, x is the value that you want to calculate, y is the height y that you calculated previously, that is 1.81 meter. Using this equation, you can solve the value of x and you will get x will be equal to 1.03 meter, where x and y are the coordinates of jet issuing from the center of pressure. Only if you know the value of x and y, you will be able to place the position of the inlet well. That is the significance of calculation of x and y in this particular design. Now moving to the last step, step number 4, that is design of wells. Here we are going to fix the diameters of the inlet well and the outlet well. The diameter of the inlet well can be 1.5 times of the x value. X is calculated previously, so 1.5 times of x will give you 1.545 meter approximately, that you can approximate it to 1.6 meter. Actually, the diameter of the outer well need not be the same. We can reduce the diameter of the outer well, so we are reducing it to 1.2 meter. There is no issue in giving the same diameter of the inlet well to the outer well also, but need not be that much higher, so we can reduce little bit. Now we are fixing the outer diameter of the well to 1.2 meter. Now provide a water cushion of 1 meter below the inlet well. Water cushion means, from this figure you can infer that the pipe connecting between the inlet well and outer well is not placed at the bottom of the inlet well. There is a particular height difference between the bottom of the inlet well and pipe connection. This particular height difference is called the water cushion. That is actually for dissipating the energy of water falling into the inlet well. Also, you have to provide sufficient bed and sides for protecting the brick pitching of the siphon well drop. So this is all about the design of siphon well drop. Here we are designing the notch we are provided at the opening of the inlet well. Then we are fixing the dimensions of the notch. Then we are fixing or designing the pipe connection between the inlet and outer well. At last, we are fixing the diameters of both inlet well and outer well. This is all about the design of siphon well drop. If you find any difficulty, you can contact me. So this is all about. Thank you all.